1964, Lyndon Johnson was the President of the United States, Milton Hassel was the President of Kearney State College, and a young man by the name of James Rundstrom was graduating from Kearney State College. I found there's been great disagreement about the number of years to accomplish that. The granting of Jim's degree was a rather historic occasion for this institution because his major was in journalism. He was the first ever student to earn a degree from Kearney State College in that newly created major. Following his graduation from Kearney State College, Jim taught English and journalism for 3 years at Sydney High School. In 1968, he received his Master of Science degree from Kansas State. He returned to Kearney and accepted the position of instructor of English and journalism at Kearney State College. Dewey Adams was the department chair at that time and is credited with the wisdom of making this tremendous hire. Jim's journey from instructor to his current position of director of the UNK Alumni Association began in the mid-1970s with his half-time appointment by Vice President Gary Olson as Kearney State College's first ever director of publications. At that time, when the admissions director, Wayne Samuelson, and his staff went on recruiting missions, all they had to offer students was a copy of the course catalog. That was not satisfactory. They needed and wanted more, and they looked to Jim to provide it. So accurately so, Jim is the father of the publications like the View Book, the Fact Book, and many of the recruiting materials that we still use today. Several years later, the foundation director, Jim Miller, expressed to the administration there was a need for communication with alumni. And that someone who was interested in and familiar with the campus needed to oversee all the alumni affairs. They looked to Jim Rundstrom. He was the first ever alumni director. The K-Stater, now the UNK Today publication, was born. Jim continued to teach half-time in the journalism program and half-time doing his alumni work until 1989 when he became the full-time director. The Alumni Association was born with Jim Rundstrom. It has experienced tremendous growth. They have seen the expansion of an alumni house, awards, a student alumni organization, scholarship programs, a mentoring program for women, and hundreds of golf meetings. I mean alumni. I don't think anyone could have done it better. Jim is also credited for a couple of other things. He changed literally the direction of this campus. He had a little rocky relationship with President Nestor. All right, they had a strained relationship. Actually, he didn't. On their first alumni meeting, see how much easier when they aren't here, we can talk about it. Jim and President Nestor went out on a recruiting alumni visit. The very first one, Jim was the new director. And I assume the two of you probably roomed together because neither one of you probably would have spent money for 2 rooms. But President Nestor was getting his luggage out of the trunk and Jim slammed the trunk door on his head. It wasn't a great way to start your professional relationship. You've taken credit that that's what put the idea in Nestor's head to become part of the university. We acknowledge Jim's retirement today. And the good news is he's agreed to stay on for a while in a part-time emeritus role as we transition from one era and another one starts. Today, there was quite a bit of publicity about you retiring today, Jim. I've been flooded with a variety of best wishes, and I wanted to extend those to you, but we really need to move on. I had one that caught my eye, and I wanted to read that to you. This is from an influence of your past, Jim. Dear Chancellor, we understand that Jim Rundstrom is being honored for his service to Kearney State College and the University of Nebraska at Kearney. We want to add our congratulations and appreciation to everything that Jim has done for us. Without his loyal business and referrals, we would not be in business today. In fact, during our lean years, if it had not been for those 2 nice young men, Jim Rundstrom and Roger Jones, we would have not been able to serve the city of Kearney. Their steady cash flow kept us afloat. Congratulations, Jim. Your friends and all the previous owners of the phone card. Jim, it's a real honor. I don't know what else to say other than thank you for everything you've done at the institution. Congratulations.
Stories with that. I don't think Doug will travel with me and get his luggage out of the back of my car. Absolutely. I will tell you this, depending on who I talk to, I was the most popular guy on campus because I hit the president at the time. Or for people who didn't like him, I was the least popular because it wasn't hard enough. But I will tell you that after a less than stellar academic career, the reason I got that journalism degree, the first one, was because they said, God, he's been here 5 years, 3 summers, a couple of post stations, we've got to get rid of him. So Don Briggs found a way to give me a journalism degree. 3 years later, after I was ready to, after I had been in graduate school, he called and said, there's a job here, and you might have an opportunity to get the job, but I have one question. I said, what's that? He said, are you sure you're going to graduate? And I did, and I had the opportunity to come back, and it's been a great career, and it's been a lot of fun to do all the things we've had the opportunity to do. But I was thinking about retirement like a lot of other people, and the one thing that came to mind was, I've outlived a building on this campus. I mean, when I was a student, they tore down Green Terrace and they built Ludden Hall. A couple of years ago, they tore down Ludden Hall. I'm thinking, you know, I think it's about time for me to retire. I have great memories and great appreciation for everybody. Thanks very much.